Gohmert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Ms. Brown, I know you seem concerned or maybe a little bit bothered that people are concerned about moving the Bureau of Land Management office to Grand Junction. And I gotta say, it causes me concern because 99% has already come out. 99% of the land of the BLM is west of the Mississippi. So I've been to Grand Junction. It's a lovely place. It's beautiful. But this basically puts the BLM headquarters right in the middle of the land they control. And that is so inconsistent with a bloated bureaucracy ruling on high from Washington to actually have the people that are managing the land at that land. So I hope you don't take offense. This is just very uncharacteristic for the federal government to do something that makes this much sense. So people immediately become suspicious when the federal government does something that makes sense like this. So I hope you don't take too much offense to that. Have you spoken to many of the federal employees that work in Grand Junction now that you brought up in your written testimony?
Well, because we have so many in Grand Junction, yes, I, in my social circle, meet and are friends with many federal employees.
Do they all pretty much indicate being offended that they have to work in Grand Junction?
Well, I think if you have spent your entire life dedicated to an organization like the BLM or some other public lands management agency, you usually like the things that come with those public lands. And so my sense is you want to live near those lands, you want to take part in the activities that come with those lands. And so I think that most of the employees that I know, whether they work for the Department of Energy, U.S. Forest Service, National Park Service, or BLM, are very happy to live in Grand Junction. I would say I was a little surprised by one of the testimony mentioned that 40% of the BLM employees in D.C. would not want to move, and I would argue that if you have a BLM employee that doesn't want to live near BLM land, that's probably the sign that you should reorganize.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful point. Yeah, they don't get out enough, as we say back in East Texas. They just don't get out enough. Well, you mentioned before the Relocation Task Force that's there to help with the move. Could you give us more detail about what that will do?
Sure. So we recognize very clearly how hard it is, and we recruit a lot of companies to Colorado. Right now we have a lot of interest in California companies to come to Colorado. And so we have an employee relocation program that helps move employees and helps make that transition as easy as possible. So we help you find housing, we help get your kids in schools, any special needs programs that are necessary. We familiarize the people with the area, especially if it's, a lot of people have not been to Grand Junction, especially from the coastal areas. And so giving a familiarization course on the area, helping, and probably the most important one is helping spouses find jobs. Most households these days, I think, are dual income, and so helping to find a job for the spouse, or the partner, I should say, the Trailing Partners program, is almost as important as getting the company. So we do a lot of hand-holding and making sure that transition is as seamless as it can be.
What structure do you have for doing that? You have actual employees on the task force that are helping to seek jobs for the government spouses?
So we have a number of great partners in Grand Junction, specifically the Mesa County Workforce Center that helps us to do the job placement. Also, my board is made up of CEOs and presidents all across the valley, and so we do a lot of direct, depending on the experience and the industry that person is in, helping to make those direct connections, and you can do that in a smaller town. Really help with those, build those relationships and get both the partner and the employee kind of enmeshed as quickly in the community as possible.
So if there are BLM employees or spouses of BLM employees that are moving to Grand Junction, with whom should they get in contact to help them take advantage of
They should get in touch with me at the Grand Junction Economic Partnership.
And do you have a phone number there?
I do. It's 970-683-8778.
All right, thank you. That's now part of the record, and hopefully they'll take advantage of it. Thanks for being here.